Hi, I'm Hilary, an aspiring journalist who is highly interested in the issues occurring in our world today. This is the same reason why I decided to focus on the story of a boy that I go to school with. His name is Abdul, and he comes from Syria with stories that would shock anyone who doesn't know life outside of democracy. This documentary will inform you of all the horrors occurring in Syria, and how many people are unable to live peaceful lives. Abdul's identity will be hidden, as him and his family still fear the Syrian government to date.
I was young in Syria. It was like peaceful, and the people was living like normal life.
Peace only lasted so long. Revolutions began to break out all over the Middle East, and governments were taking harsh actions. Even Abdul's family was directly impacted by these actions. However, a group of young schoolboys were the first ones to officially take action and stand up to the government.
There's in the city of Daraa, there's like 15 students. They were in their school, and they saw on the TV the people saying, "الشعب يريد إسقاط النظام." This means the people want to get the government like out. So the students they went in the morning and they wrote this sentence on their school wall. And the next day, the police come and they arrested those students and they like tortured them and a lot of them were like died.
After Syrians heard about the tragic abuse and torture that these boys experienced, the flame of revolution had been ignited.
It started in the city of Daraa, but after like it started in all the Syrian city. I was living in the city of Hama, and when it started, the people like started to go outside and say to the government, "Enough! We need freedom. We need a new president. We need enough. Like we can't say anything. We don't have freedom." And day by day, it started to come like bigger and bigger, until one day my city went the biggest demonstration in all Syria. It was like 1 million people went downtown and they demonstrate against the government.
Abdul still remembers when the Syrian army poured into the city just shortly after the demonstrations. They began to tell people to stay in their homes while arresting others. In some areas, groups of civilians were even being shot at.
And it was like scary. I remember that day it was like 6 o'clock in the morning when I was watching TV and waiting until the sun come out to go and buy some bread. So I heard some voices outside, some like small bomb and like fire and so I opened the window and the voice like minute by minute the voice become like more near to my house. And my mom was very afraid because she thought I left the house. When she came to my room and she find me, like she said, "Oh, thanks God, because if you left, you will get hurt." So and after like 1 hour, we opened like the door and we see like the tank and the army, and it was like scary. It was like a war. They start to shoot at the people and they start to enter the houses. Everybody above 18, like take everybody above 18. And my brother was one of them and my dad. Yeah, and they took my brother for 1 month. And they arrested him, and my dad only for 1 week, and they let him go. It was hard because when we went to demonstrate against the government, we go in peace, like totally peaceful. Only we walk and we say and we sing like song against the government and this. And one time we were going like to the downtown, and while we are walking, the police like came in front and they start to shoot fire at us. My brother has Iraqi passport too because my dad has Iraqi passport. When they entered my house and they took my brother, my mom said he's not Syrian, you can, and she showed them his passport. So they took the passport and they raped him. And after that, my dad friend told him, if you have Iraqi citizenship, you can go to Damascus and to the Canadian embassy, and they take all the Iraqi people in Syria to Canada or to America or those countries. So we went and we said, and my dad said that my son was arrested in city of Hama because he was demonstrating against the government with his friend and with the people there. And he said we are not safe in Syria.
After telling his family's story to the embassy and doing necessary paperwork, Abdul and his family escaped to Canada to start their new lives.
And when we came to Canada, it was like great because it's big different. Like here in Canada, there's freedom. You can't say anything you want. You can't, like, if you don't like the government, you can't say it. Nobody will hurt you. But in Syria, all this is not. In Syria, we can't talk anything about the government. And their life in Canada is like beautiful and it's safe.
Even though Abdul and his family are safe here in Canada, his experiences from Syria will last him a lifetime.
I can't like I can't forget what just happened in Syria. Like so, like it was very hard. Like now every day I remember there were children, women, old people, and they died, and nobody like cared. It was I can't forget like what happened in Syria. They are living very hard time now, and nobody is helping. But the Syrian people is strong, and like nobody in the world nobody helped them, and they are fighting what government and like all like the government by 3 years, and nobody helped them, and they are strong, and I think they one day they will win because the government won't stay forever in rural Syria. One day it will change. The only thing I care about is the people. We want to stop stop from like killing people because a lot of people killed, a lot of people lost their houses, their children, their family. It's hard now. I want to say to the Syrian people that don't care if you are with the government or against the government or from any religion or anything, don't care. Only care because you are a brother, you were in the same country, and this is our country. We don't want to destroy our country. Now Syria is old country and it's like beautiful. We don't want to destroy it.
Of course, we don't want to destroy Syria. We don't want to destroy any country. As human beings, we want prosperous lives. We want happiness and peace. But this is not possible in any country until it is possible in all countries. Abdul's story of his road to liberation is one that represents an entire Middle Eastern population. Hardships, conflict, loss of happiness, loss of life, and the attempt to escape it all. It is all real, and the list only goes on. What we can only hope for the future is that we can make a change. I truly hope that Abdul's story has impacted you in the way that it impacted me. Considering the circumstances that people like Abdul and his family have had to deal with, it's taken another step towards change. I want you to think about your lives in a world of autocratic authority. Could you deal with it? And if not, what would you do to make a change?